So, Hannah, tell us a little bit now. So, you're the camp missionary here.
Yes, I am.
Okay, tell us how that came about. Tell us a little bit about your missionary background. How did you decide you wanted to be a missionary? How did all that happen?
When I was 15, I had gone with my youth group to a local in-state kind of disaster relief kind of mission after some tornadoes in Alabama. And the missionary we went with was it was a group of us. We were sitting around, and he was sharing with us about some of his missions.
He just got photobombed by Pop there. So.
About some of his missions that he was doing in Managua, Nicaragua.
Oh, okay.
And so just talking through that, like the Lord just began to work in my heart. And so just throughout that week, almost every evening, I would end up in a circle with him and some others just discussing missions. And through that, the Lord just really opened my heart to the fact that he had mission. He was calling me to be a missionary. And so I had the opportunity to go with that same gentleman, his name was Brother Sean Doss, to San Jose, Costa Rica. We worked in the Alahuito district right outside.
And we talked about this a little bit, which is very interesting to me because we were missionaries in Costa Rica and have been to some of the similar places. Mm-hmm. Please continue.
Yeah, and so I got to go to Costa Rica with him 3 times. While I was in high school, and I just really fell in love with the whole idea of missions and helping out. And so in my head, though, I thought missions was global. Like you had to leave the U.S. in order to be a missionary.
Right.
And so once I got to college, the Lord really kind of changed the way that I viewed missions because I had that.
Okay, so now real quick, let me just break in here. Where did you go to college at?
I went to Louisiana College. It's a small private Baptist university in Pineville.
Uh-huh.
And so it's right next to Alexandria. The Red River kind of splits the two.
Right.
And so when I was in college, I got to college, I was like, okay, I'm older. Lord, send me. And in my head, I'm thinking, he's going to send me further than Costa Rica because I thought missionaries were measured by how far they went from the U.S.
Right.
And the Lord took those 4 years I was in college to radically change the way that I did missions and showed me that I could be a missionary right there in Pineville, that I didn't have to go far. And so I was a part of Main Street Mission, and so it's a mission outreach from SBC Pineville, but over the years it's kind of evolved into its own little church. But during the week they have what's called Mercy Ministries, and so on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays we feed homeless people, and then they're really impoverished in the area, because what people don't realize is Pineville, Alexandria has a skewed homeless population. Like they have a lot more homeless people than we realize. And there are a lot of them live in the downtown area by like the Jackson Street Bridge, and so we were right there in and amongst those people. And so on Thursdays we did this thing, it was like an outreach where we would bring in either like social workers or someone from the housing department to help these people find jobs and houses. And so we were meeting their needs and giving them food and clothes, but we were also helping to educate them and help them get out of that homeless situation. And so through that, and then we worked a lot with like the inner city kids right there, because there's the housing projects and just some really poverty-stricken areas. And so I got to be a mentor to about 4 youth-aged girls, and just really pour into them. And the Lord just opened my eyes to how that was just as much being a missionary as the work that I had done.
Well, and so many people even will say more. They'll say even, because you'll hear this all the time, or at least I have. Hey, we got plenty of problems here in the United States, which I agree with, and I think missions is right next door as much as it is in Africa. Yeah. But I'll tell you what I started doing is I started telling them, you believe in giving to local missions? Let's see your checkbook, because a lot of people will say things like that just so that they don't have to participate. But you took this the next step. You went, no, really, we need to be participating, and it needs to be done right here. That's a great encouragement. So, but then did the Lord? He's still let you go to some places.
Yes, and
tell us about that.
I did that throughout my time in college, and then I was getting ready to graduate college, and the Lord opened up a really cool opportunity. I got to go with a group called Operation Served International, and they're a medical mission group in Mexico City. And so June 2018, I was in Mexico for 5 weeks, working with a team of doctors from the U.S., partnering with some doctors and dentists and eye doctors in Mexico, and then a lot of local churches we partnered with. And so we would go into the mountains around Mexico City, because Mexico City is a very, very rich city. There's lots of, you feel like you're in a very...
And it's huge, right? There's like 6 million people in Mexico City. I mean, it's just incredible.
I think if I remember the statistic right, it's like one of the biggest city in like the whole like below America, or like Central
Below the
America.
United States?
Yeah.
I think
in
you're
South
right.
America,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Huge.
Yeah, it's
Huge
giant.
place.
And so what it is this giant city, and it's surrounded by a ring of mountains. And when you get closer to the mountains and farther away from the city center, the poorer the communities get and the less access they have to good, affordable health care.
Right.
Because their health care system is very different than what we have here.
Sure.
And so we would go in and we would partner with local churches in these poor communities, and we would do like mobile medical clinics. And we did medical clinics and eye clinics. We had some Mexican dentists that even did like dentistry clinics. We did hygiene classes for the youth age girls. And then we did like VBS with the kids. Sometimes we would even just take time and like brush the women's hair and braid it or paint their nails and just spend time loving on them and making them feel special.
And so tell me about this. You know, I think that the Lord has really touched your heart and has got a special message for you that I think a lot of people need to hear, is that basically missions is not always what you think of immediately when you think of missions.
Yes.
Missions is more of a biblical idea on how to reach people for Christ.
Yes, and so I like the saying, missions is to the end of the earth or to the end of your street. It's not just going, like we can be missionaries right where we are. And a big thing that I'm super passionate about and that the Lord has really opened my heart to is that you don't have to wait until you're in high school or you're in the youth group or you're in college to be a missionary. The Lord can equip and call, first, second, third, fifth, sixth graders to be missionaries right where they are, and even sometimes call them to other countries.
Right.
And so just to be a missionary, you have to be obedient to what the Holy Spirit is trying to do inside of you, and to be willing to share the gospel with those around you. And that, I think, is the heart of what biblical missions looks like. And sometimes we get that skewed, and we think it has to be going to the bush of Africa in order to be a missionary. Right.
So tell me this. So here we are at Dry Creek. Now, this is Dry Creek preteen camp 1, preteen camp 2. But you're here the whole time.
Yes, I've been here since May. The last week of May, we kind of kicked off summer. And so each week, I just kind of spend time with kids and help them understand what missions mean and kind of be part of that missions emphasis. Because Dry Creek wants to be a camp where we learn about Jesus, where Jesus is Lord. But when we go out, we share that. We don't keep it at Dry Creek. We share the good news we learn. With the communities.
Now, have you had any interesting conversations with some of these kids? You don't have to mention any names, but have you had anybody come and say, "Hey, you know what you've told me this week? I know now. I wanna work for the Lord." Is it?
Yes. Last week we had AYC, which is Adventure Youth Camp, and I had a student come up to me. Her church had went to Thailand on a mission trip, and she said the whole time she was in Thailand, she felt the Lord like pulling on her heart, but she knew that He wasn't calling her to Thailand, but she knew the Lord was calling her to missions. And so I got to spend the week just praying with her, helping her, seek the Lord's will for her life, and where the Lord may be calling her to be a missionary.
Yeah.
And so that was just really cool to get to see someone be like, all right, listen, I know this is not where the Lord has for me. Help me figure out where it is, and just get to pour scripture into her and encourage her in that.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know the first time they've called me to kind of help be what you usually are during camp. I get to be the camp missionary, having been in Costa Rica and Ethiopia and Haiti and all these different places. But I remember what a privilege it is, because when I was a kid in camp, when I was like 10 or 11, we had a guy come from Mexico and he was doing chalk drawings, and I remember going up to him afterwards and saying, "You have encouraged me. I think I want to be a missionary when I get older." So it's neat how the Lord brings us full circle, and now here I am at a preteen camp encouraging kids to see. And so it's really great that you get to also do that and be a part of those lives.
It's really cool because I also came to Dry Creek as a camper a lot, and I remember missionaries coming in. We had some missionaries from the Middle East one time. They had gone to I think maybe Afghanistan.
Rough mission field over there. Wow.
Yeah. He'd had the opportunity to go and spend 3 weeks there, and I remember it was back to school camp in 2010. And I distinctly remember hearing him present that, and then having a really good conversation with him afterwards. And I just know that the Lord, he was using those mission times to plant seeds in my heart for what eventually, he would reveal to me his plan was. And so it's a really cool thing to be a part of.
I think it's really great how the Lord indeed does give us the desires of our heart. When we're serving Him and we're living for Him, I have people all the time who are like, well, how do I know if I'm supposed to go to Costa Rica? How do I know if I'm supposed to go to Haiti? And I just tell them, look, start raising the money. If the money comes in, go.
Yeah.
It's not like, I think sometimes too many people are waiting for a burning bush or an angel to speak, and He's very clear in Matthew 28, go and teach. And so I think if you've got a hankering to go somewhere and the Lord provides the opportunity, go. Tell them about Jesus. But for sure, get started with your next door neighbor. Get started down the street. Well, okay, so we're fixing to close down. We're going to go eat some lunch and get with the kids and everything. So thank you, Hannah. Any last words of encouragement for anybody that you'd like to say? Maybe something you'd like to talk about that I haven't asked you a question about, or did we cover it pretty good?
We covered it pretty good. I guess if I had any last encouragement is, sometimes people don't understand if they don't have the same passion for missions as you may have. They may not quite understand that, but don't let that discourage you. If the Holy Spirit is leading you to it, do it. The Lord will open their eyes to why and how He's called you to do something, and you may be what it takes to encourage someone else to get involved in it.
Well, that's really good.
And so, even if you have some adversity around you, but the Lord's calling you to do it, just do it. Boy,
that's good. Hannah, love you, sister.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to working with you through this week. Thank you for doing this interview. Thank you for joining us on R7 video. There's plenty more to come during this week at Dry Creek. So, everybody, I'm going to transition once more back to Hannah. Hannah, say bye.
Bye, y'all.
All right, love y'all.